now let's continue. Question 21. Open the file named Bottle Bin from your candidate drive. Okay, merge the bin and frame 4 layers. After that, you need to save the file. Okay, so let's go and open up the file first. Open. Okay, Bottle Bin, right? Now, because this is animation, so like last time, right? When you actually all these frames, right? Eventually it will become like animations. But right now it's like still frame. That means it's a static one. You see, when you open up the eyes and close, you see the animation slowing. Can you see the animation? Yeah, let me reduce this first.
So essentially, you create a different frame.
Correct. That's why you see. Okay, right now this is frame one. Frame one, right? The bottle is at this position. At second frame, it's starting to drop. Third, okay, this is fourth frame, okay, and then number fifth. So it's a short animation. That means the bottle has been dropped into the yellow bin. Okay, so can you see that actually all the animation, right? They are created from many frames actually. So like when you watch cartoons, animation, all this, right? Actually there are a lot of frames. But of course, nowadays they also use 3D to create. So it's easier compared to this. This is a more traditional way of doing. Like you know, artists, right? They draw a lot of frames. Then when you flip the pages, it's like moving the cartoon. Actually, it's the same concept here. So now you are the director. You have to plan. Like, okay, if you want to do something, for example, a cartoon character walking from left to right. Okay, so you have to think, okay, how many frames in between? And at first, maybe your character at left position, then slowly moving towards the center, and after that, center moves to the right. Okay, so all this you have to create frames. So this is a storyboard. That's why before you do animation, right, you have to plan how do you want your story to be. Okay, so all this, right, is just an individual frame. Now the question they want us to merge these two layers first, because right, if we don't merge it, okay, you see for this bin, right, it's only nothing happens. Okay, so how to merge these two layers? Okay, how to merge these two layers? Hold down shift, highlight these two layers, and then right click, okay, and merge layers. Okay, now you have frame 4, frame 3, 2, 1. Okay. Faisal, I think yesterday when you merged it, your name is different, right? Then correct. Okay. So now you see, when I play through, right? Okay, it's actually like a animation going through already. Of course, this is just an exam question. When you are creating your own one, it's not so easy. Because everything they already prepared for you. So if you're creating your own animation, you have to think. Okay. So my advice to you is, for the same thing, please group as one folder. Okay. Because right now, if you look at this, they already prepare everything in frame by frame. But for you, maybe because you create your layout, your artwork in Photoshop, right, from beginning. So sometimes for this bin, maybe it's a lot of layers. Okay. So maybe for this bin, right, you may want to group them as one group. Okay. Okay. Now, when you want to do animation, before you call up the timeline panel, right? Make sure all your animation is in order. This is one. Okay, that means now I have finalized. Okay, is there anything else I want to change? No more. Okay, so then only I go and activate my timeline panel. Can you call up your timeline panel? Because once you open up this, right, later if your frame 1 you change anything, right, it will affect all the frames. Okay, that's why I say you must plan how is your animation going to flow first. Okay, so later on, once you're starting to animate, right, don't do any changes. Okay, Okay, so we go to timeline now. Now, if you look at this timeline here, you will see one frame only. Okay. Now, by right, the sequence should be the bottle falling into the bin, right? Okay. By right, it should be like that, huh? Okay. Because if I'm going to do like this is like the reverse. Can you see that? Okay. So in the exam, sometimes they can be very tricky. They may give you a reverse one. So you must think lah. If the question say, oh, curtain closing, that means your animation should be showing the curtain is closing and not opening. Okay, so you must read the question carefully. Okay, so in this case, first of all, we need to hide all the frame first because this is our very first frame. That means at this point of time, right, the portal is still here. Okay, so can you hide all the layers first except your first frame? Okay, then okay, let's look at the requirement again. Now, they want you to create an animation, okay, to without looping. This one is actually because your animation, right, it can play forever. Like logo, usually you should let it loop continuously because maybe your logo is spinning, right? Okay, you want it to stop, no, right? It will look very odd, right, on the website. So you will let it continuously play with loop. But this time around, they want us to play your animation once, but no repeating. Okay, this loop, that means repeat. Okay, okay. Now the frame delay, right, is 0.1 second between all the frames. So in this case, okay, let's go back to Photoshop. Now, can you see there's a 0 second here? Or maybe some of you is different, never mind. Okay, can you click on this arrow? What is the requirement? 0.1, right? Okay. No, the small arrow here. You can see here. Okay. Now, this frame delay, right? That means from first frame to go to second frame, it takes 0.1 second. Okay, because if there's no delay at all, you can't possibly see the animation because it's 0 second. Do you think you can see? You can't really see it, right? Okay, it will happen very fast. Okay, next. Now, okay, next thing is actually your looping. Right now, mine is actually is forever. Can you see that? Bottom. Can you see bottom? Wait, sorry. Can you see at the bottom here? Okay, it's actually forever. They want you to change to what? Change to one time only. Am I correct? Okay, so can you click once? That means later your animation will only happen one time. After that, it will stay at the first frame. Okay. Okay. Now you have already set up the setting, right? Okay. Now, in order to go to the next frame, right, you will need to duplicate. Can you see this? The icon here? Okay. The icon here, duplicate. You click once because you must continue from a previous frame, right? Whatever happened. Am I correct? In order to have a smooth animation. Okay. If you throw something, if in the middle the frame is gone, you will see sometimes when you throw, it's not smooth. You will start and then you continue to throw. Can you imagine that? Okay. Okay. Now we are at the second frame, right? Can you switch on your frame 2? And if you click 1 and 2, right? Okay, if you click 1 and 2, you see that there's a difference. Okay. Can you see now better? Okay, can you see that? Right now it's like falling down already. Okay. Now at this point in time, if you really need to change something, right? Okay, but in this case we don't need. But I'm talking about in your real life lah, huh? Okay, it's better that you stop first. Don't continue to do it. You close your timeline and go back to your frame to do whatever changes. Then only you activate your timeline and continue to do things. Do you notice that once you activate the timeline, you have extra bar here? Do you see this previously yesterday? You don't have this. Okay, this is only appearing when you are dealing with animations. Okay, okay. Next frame. Okay, what am I supposed to do next? Correct. Duplicate the third frame, and then I open the third frame. Okay, duplicate again, and fourth frame. Duplicate one more time. Okay, and fifth. So now if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if you go to the first frame, right, and you click play, you will continue to play. Can you see that?
If I duplicate and then click frame 4 instead of 3, doesn't mean it will come up 1, 2, 4.
Allows you to play the animations. Okay. Now for Faisal, right, because you try to do this on for your own thing, right? Maybe you can explore this also. Okay, you will smoothen out the animations. Okay, but remember, the more frames your animation have, that means the file size also greater. Okay, so that's why you see it's actually quite easy to do this because we have lesser frame. Okay, so the file size will not be very big also. This is more ideal when you are dealing with website. Okay. So to be honest, when you use Photoshop to create animation, right, you don't expect like fanciful animation because it's very basic only. Okay, so try to create minimal basic animation. Okay, the file size is smaller also. Okay, okay. Now you have already prepared the animation, right? Okay. Okay. Next thing, what do they want us to do? Okay, we have to save. Just now I forgot to save. Okay, save the file first. So Control S to save. Okay. After that, now you right now you have prepared the animation, right? Okay. Can you close the timeline panel? And you realize that the extra bar is gone now. Can you see that? Okay. Right now you are back to the normal document mode. Okay. Just save, Control S to save. Now, whenever you see there's an asterisk here, that means your file has not saved yet. Okay. So you see after I save, this actually will be gone. Can you see that? Okay. Next one, they want us to output this animation to become a rubbish.gif file. Okay. Then now this is still your Photoshop working files only. Okay, you can't possibly upload this to your website. So in this case, we need to output to the website. So let's go to File, Save for Web. Okay. Now, your Save for Web, right? There are actually a lot of settings here because dealing with website, you actually have a lot of consideration to take care of. Okay. Now, is your window using tool up? Can you change the tool up if it's not? Okay. Now, this is your original picture. Okay, can you see here? Original Photoshop files. If you save for JPEG, right? Okay, it's actually 400K. In website, this is actually a lot. Okay, so this is not a lot because in a such small picture, this is causing so many space already. Okay, am I correct, Mr. C? This is too much, right? The file is too big, right? Okay. Okay, so in this case, okay, can you click on the second window, which is this one? Do you see there's a highlighted outline when you click on different thing? Can you see that? Okay. So now click on the second one. This is actually mine. I'm using Jetpack. I'm not sure about you. Is it the same? Okay. So I'm supposed to change to GIF. Okay. Okay. Now this GIF file, right? They have different color palette also. Can you see? You got 128, 32, 64. The more the color, the file size bigger. That means your animation also look nicer. Okay. But as I mentioned to you, remember that the GIF file, right? They control better when it's lesser color. Remember that? I told you before, like your logo, you only have 2 or 3 colors, right? That's why you use GIF file. Okay. Now, the more the color you have, right, it will look more realistic. What do I mean by that, right? Can you zoom in, Control Plus, zoom into one of the bin? Right now, have you chosen 128? We are using the biggest one and see how. Now, is this picture very colorful? Yes, right? So when it's very colorful, actually JPEG or PNG is better. But now, does your PNG and JPEG support animation? No, right? So we have to use GIF file. But the bad thing about GIF file is, you see, when you have two colorful things, can you see that compared to original, do you see the grainy part? The dot, 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 dot. Can you see that? You look at your own screen also, you'll be able to see that. Are you able to see? Can you see that this part is like a bit pixelated? Compared to here, this is still smooth. Okay? Okay. Now, this is because they want to optimize the file size. Okay. So right now, can you look at the color table here, over here? Do you see how many colors are being used here? 128. Okay. Okay. So at 128, right, you have the color is like this. Okay. Now let's change the preset to, okay, let's use the lowest one, 32. Okay. Do you see it become worse? Some of the detail is gone. You see like this one, the shadow is still there, but it becomes dot 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 only. Okay. But can you compare the size now? Previously it was about 19K, right? Okay. So you see, when you're dealing with website, your size is also a big issue here. But the thing is whether your picture presentable also is another concern. Okay. Okay, so now since they didn't mention, right, we just use the highest one. Okay, so just use 128 color. So at least you see this one, I still can see a tone, different color tone. Can you see that? Okay. Now, if they didn't mention any other settings, right, don't go and mess up this. Okay, we'll just use the default color setting. That's why they always have this preset for you. But of course, if you are saving your file for your client, they say, oh, I just want the row rest, I just want to refer only. Then you can use your Jetpack high, low, medium, up to you. Okay, don't need to give them GIF file because you see the quality is not nice. Okay. Now anyway, this picture also not ideal because the file is too big. The canvas size is a bit too big. Usually your logo it should be smaller. Okay. Okay. Now over here, right? I think below here you should have some part where you have the button to play the animation. Do you have it? Yes, right? Okay, because my screen is too small, I can't see that. So at this point, you still can play your animation. Can you click on your animation and play and see how is it? I can see. You also can reduce the size here. Can you see that image size? You can reduce the percentage also. Okay, so when you save this, you have the settings here to play with. Okay, of course you can use 4up also because sometimes web designer, they need to compare. Like some they want to know or JPEG, right? Okay, you see now this one I changed to JPEG. Okay, immediately you can see the different sizes and the quality also different. Okay, so this is the usage for you to compare different format. Okay, now we just use 2up lah. Okay, so 2up I change to 128. Okay, okay, now you save, click on save. Okay, just save back to your files. Okay, what is the name they want us to give? Rubbish, right? Okay, so you must rename accordingly. Don't just save like that. Okay, if you give a wrong file, wrong also. Save. And they want you to save the Photoshop file also, right? You see, save the Photoshop file and close. Okay, so I close and then save. Now, if you're using Windows, right, you can actually play back the animation using your Internet Explorer. But you see, because I'm using Mac, so my Mac automatically preview the animation. Can you see that? And this is fake, because by right we set play one time only, right? Okay. Because Mac it will keep on playing. Okay. But for you, right, when you open up with your Explorer, you only play one time. Am I correct?
Just now when you
Okay.
save Photoshop file, you save at the G128